guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast here on Tone Entertainment. Today, joining me here on the channel, wow, when we set this up 2 weeks ago, this was going to be a kind of a retirement retrospective podcast, but things have changed, that's for sure. And so joining me here on the channel is none other than E.R.A. Ernest R. Alexander. How you doing, E.R.A.?
I'm doing great, Tony. I'm doing great. Another day alive. It's a great day. Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to play a clip right here, and this is from our previous interview 2 years ago. And essentially, this is how you signed off of this interview. I'm going to bring it up right now. So the clip is.
Oh, look at that hair.
Yeah, look at that hair.
He said, one thing that's for sure about E.R.A, nothing's for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
So obviously we have learned as of 2 weeks ago that nothing is for sure when it comes to E.R.A.
No, never, man. Never. I'm always full of surprises.
Now, it was about almost a month ago. A buddy of mine actually sent me this video from the night in the steel cage match from CCW. And you guys were going up against the Crown. I'm going to bring this in right here. So this was the night you were in the steel cage match. You got the Crown going on there, who are definitely heavy hitters unto themselves. We get this playing right here.
Who's that good-looking, handsome devil there?
Oh, stud. Let me see if I can bring it down a little bit more here. Here we go.
There you go. Oof, Chris.
Now you got Leonis in there, who's a brute force unto himself. And then this happens. And it appears from here that your shoulder goes out and, you've got quite the injury going on there. So how serious was that injury that occurred there in the cage?
A gentleman never tells.
Okay. Well, then we should go to 2 weeks ago at CCW Bash at the Brew then. And I captured this moment here. And let me bring this one in. And we talked that night, and man, I was sad. It was your retirement. You were greeted by Domino. You got Ricky Martinez out here. And, everybody's chanting your name. Everybody's, man, this is the send-off right here, right? Like the big emotional send-off. Domino, who you've been hanging out with, you actually recently invited him to the family with you and Ricky Martinez. And I don't know. Let's go a little bit forward. We get that. Let's bring that back. What's going on here? What's going on? Domino, we thought was your buddy, your pal, your compadre. Ricky Martinez here. Well, we know what goes on from here. Then Ricky Martinez, shows that he's got the loyalty, the many years of loyalty that's still with you. What's going through your mind here, E.R.A.?
What's he gonna do? I mean, literally right here, I had no idea what Ricky was gonna do.
Okay.
Like, I didn't know. I was just focused on Domino. I was, and that, beautiful.
Ooh.
I mean, you can't ask for anything more beautiful than that. And the beautiful thing, Tony, he didn't see it coming.
It honestly came from out of nowhere, that's for sure. Oh,
like I mentioned to you earlier, Tony, I am full of surprises. And look, Tony, I want to take an opportunity before we're going to talk about everything. And I've been pretty quiet about this. I don't want to just talk to anybody. You and I have a relationship the last few years. I want to thank you for bringing me on because this is going to allow me to tell my story. because Bash at the Brew, next show, beginning of March, what is it, March 3rd, I believe? Bash at the Brew.
The next one, I believe it's
Yes, yes,
Saturday,
yeah.
March 3rd.
Saturday, March 3rd. Yeah, yeah, get your tickets. It's going to be a good one. You're going to hear me and Ricky break everything down. But I know a lot of those people that are going to be there. They're probably not watching right now, so we'll save a lot of it for March 3rd. So I want to save tonight as more of the. I'll give you like an amuse bouche, if you will. I'll give you like a appetizer, pre-appetizer, letting you know how everything is working. You say, my boy. You say, my friend, Domino. I say, a guy that CCW put me with, because while I was gone, he started being the new thing. He started getting the E.R.A chance. E.R.A came back. When did I come back? October of last year. I came back sooner than doctors told me from a fractured elbow because Alex Chamberlain put his hands on my boy, Ricky Martinez. And against doctors' wishes, I went back to stomp Alex Chamberlain's ass. I came back. I was ready to go. And I'm thinking we're going to pick up where we left off in CCW. I was the hottest thing before I got injured, man. I'm figuring, all right, E.R.A, I'm going to take it to Jackal Stevens for the heavyweight title. You're going to see some incredible matches between E.R.A and Jackal Stevens. Respect matches, but you're going to see incredible matches. I was ready for it. Wrong. They stick me with Domino. They say, E.R.A, this kid Domino is the hottest thing going today in CCW. And we need you to help him get to the next level. What the hell is that? No, I'm not anybody's stepping stone, Tony. I'm not somebody that propels someone else. Now, I don't mind having a few tag matches with Domino. I don't mind maybe taking him under my wing. But this goes further than the CCW offices, Tony. This goes further than Domino. You see, my beef isn't with Domino. Domino was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, all that stuff with CCW does matter, but it was more the fans. The fans, the people. Those people who you said were cheering me and supporting me weren't there when I fractured my elbow, giving them everything I wanted. And this ain't sour grapes, man. This ain't me complaining. This is me wanting to teach the people that actions have consequences. You're going to cheer for Domino when I come back and go out there with it. You're going to chant his name and disrespect me. Everything that I've given to the people, everything that I've done, sacrifices I've made with my body, with two little girls at home, leaving them alone when I go out there and perform those dumbass alcoholics to try to gain something for myself. But in reality, I'm just entertainment for them. And the moment I get injured, I'm just an afterthought. Well, it's time to show the people exactly who I truly am, who I was before the injury, the shoulder injury, when they all wanted to jump on the bandwagon because I was the new hot thing. I don't care about the people and what they think. I care about me. I care about making a statement. And thank God, everything that I told Ricky, everything that I've been telling Ricky for the last few months about this kid Domino, it registered. I told Ricky that Domino was going to bring him down. I told Ricky that he and I should go at it alone. I didn't hear from Ricky. Never heard from Ricky for weeks. And then that night, he showed me that he got my messages. And he showed me that it got to him. I'm sorry to go on a long tangent, my man, but you brought this up right in the beginning. You know, I thought we were going to wait on this. So that's the truth.
Yeah, no, there's no waiting on this. In fact, you know, you brought up the fans. We got Lester LX in here, and he's saying E.R.A and the 5 stars rat. He has oh wait. E.R.A, we got somebody here in the chat. Adrian Castro is here in the chat with a timer on here.
Aw, Adrian Castro with a timer.
And the sands of time is running out for you. That's what I took from it.
Look, the fans are just mad that I fooled them. Fans, you see, the people today, these social bug people who walk while they're looking at their phones, drive while they're looking at their phones, can't comprehend a conversation longer than 10 seconds, have the attention span of a guppy. These people think that these little comments that they make to me can get to me. No, no, man. Nothing gets to me. Nothing people can say, the rat comments, all of that. But which, by the way, the only rats that these people see is what they look at every morning when they look at a mirror. That's the only rats that they see. Me, every day I look in the mirror, I see a winner. And like I said, it's not sour grapes. It's not jealousy. It's nothing like that. It's making a statement. When I came back, all of these people thought that they can just disrespect me and thought that I wasn't going to do anything about it. Well, do I have your attention now? The answer? Yes.
You've
Just
definitely
a
made
fact.
yeah. You've made statements, and we're gonna play both sides of the fence here because Cherry Bombs is in here and says she loves you, E.R.A. She is a big fan of E.R.A.
I love me some cherry bombs too, Donovan. Thank you.
And then Anna Maria Garcia says, y'all going down. The domination is taking over.
These are just people that Domino paid so they can comment and support him on social media.
Oh, okay. So you're
Means
saying he's boosting his fans out there? Is that what's going on?
100%.
Oh.
100%. Has to be. I mean, any wrestling fan would tell you that I'm right. Anybody that has any ounce of intelligence, any ounce of common sense would tell you that I'm right. My gripe isn't with all the fans. There's people out there that I get along with. There's fans that I respect. I don't have a problem with all the fans. No, I have a problem with these Domino bandwagon people. All these crybaby people that want to jump on the bandwagon and think that they can just jump from one person to one person without consequences. Before I injured my shoulder, before everybody started jumping on my train, I was one of the most hated men in CCW. Why did I allow these people to jump on my bandwagon? Well, I mean, the answer is simple. The almighty dollar, Tony. I mean, come on. But you see, all that's gone. It's time to move forward. And it's time to not worry about so much of the almighty dollar, but more worry about dominance. CCW, Ricky Martinez, and I are just going to take over. We're going to dominate the tag team scene. We're going to get rid of Domino, make an example out of him, and then crown. That night in the steel cage match, excuse me, that was more of planning an idea. It wasn't more about the match with the crown. It was planning an idea. The idea was planned. The stage was set. Everything's almost been complete. Once it's complete, crown, it'll come back full circle, and I'll get my tag team championship back. But this time, I'll get it with the right partner, Ricky Martinez. 5-star era, man.
Oh, Mosh Pit Messiah is in here, and he has an opinion on the situation. He said, "Boo this man," and I don't think he's talking about me. I think he's talking about you, sir. E.R.A.
That's cool. I want all the smoke. Boo me. That's fine. I can take it. I don't care. I can take it. You see, and here's the thing. And what I mentioned earlier about this is not against all the fans. If you notice, when I did what I did on Domino, there was actually people that were cheering me.
Hold on, I'm gonna bring in a clip. I got this one queued up for you. Hold on. Let's bring in this one because this guy is. I think he's your biggest fan. And let me bring this one in here. And he's at everyone, and he was having an emotional moment. He's at every show. I think there were tears coming down as you were announcing your retirement here, E.R.A. So yes, you definitely have. I think the diehard E.R.A fans. I mean, that's without question. That are going to ride or die with you. No matter what you're doing. But I think you smarten up the marks, as they so to say.
Oh, that's why I loved it. I mean, the marks, the smarks, people think that they know more than what they know. I mean, I remember when all this with Domino started and they're like, oh, I can see he's going to turn bad. Fooled them. And you know what? It's cool. If people think they saw it coming, or if people think that, oh, you can't get one by me, I don't care. Because those people that are living in their mom's basements waiting for their mom to bring them down Pop-Tarts or Hot Pockets or cut their meats because they can't heat it all, doesn't matter. All these crybabies, I can't put my hands on those people. I can't physically go into the crowd and touch people. I ain't gonna run or test people now. Come on. What I can do though, I can take all that frustration I have on these certain fans, all these people that thought they can ride my bandwagon, and when I come back, jump on somebody else. What I can do is make a statement against them by taking out Domino, using Domino as a placement for all of them. So all this stuff I'm going to do the Domino March 3rd, it's going to be because of these fans' fault. And I feel bad that Cha Cha Charlie is tag teaming with Domino, because I actually got respect for Cha Cha Charlie. And I feel bad what I'm going to have to do to that boy and Domino. I mean, the best advice I can give Cha Cha is just don't come out. Let Domino just take this whooping. Let him learn. This will be a good night for me and Ricky to teach Domino. He's only been doing this for a year. He's not ready for this level. He's not ready. He's way in over his head, honestly.
I mean, isn't he the CCW Rookie of the Year, if I'm not mistaken? You don't think he's ready for this level yet?
What does that mean? CCW Rookie of the Year. What does that mean?
He's making waves. He's making strides. He's shown that he's ready to, roll with the big dogs in CCW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or maybe I'll just prove to everybody that what I'm saying is true and he's not ready. I mean, look, I'll give him credit. He's hung with some of, some good wrestlers. He's hung with Eddie Torres. He hung like he was. I had to really hold his hand out there against the Crown, but he kind of held his own. But he's not ready for this, Tony. He's not ready for me. I will now. I'm not gonna be the gullible bad guy and tell him, stay home, Domino. You don't want to come out here and catch these hands, and because I'll dominate you. And I know Domino's not gonna do that. I know Domino ain't gonna do that at all. I know Domino's gonna want to come out. He's gonna want to be Bruce Willis and Die Hard. He's gonna want to fight. He's gonna want to get in there and come at me. He may want to bring his mom to the show and his family. They all gonna be there with their Domino shows. I hope to God he does that. I pray that he does that, because if he does, Tony, I'm gonna embarrass his ass so bad that he's never gonna want to step in a wrestling ring again.
Wow, there seems to be a lot of pressure on Domino more than anything. Although Mosh Pit Messiah believes that Domino will get his at the next show.
Oh, Mosh Pit. Yeah, you really believe that? I don't think you believe that, man. Honestly.
Gregory Kong says, oh, wait, I skipped one of his comments here. Let's go back. He says, oh, yeah, that's your boy, E.R.A. Good to see you healthy. Now I got to catch a show and troll you. And then he says, nah, Cha-Cha needs a little payback, though.
Payback for what? For what? Seriously. I mean, Cha-Cha's just trying to be the good little boy scout in CCW. Oh, Domino needs some help. Let me jump in there and help out Domino and dance with the crowd. Whatever. I mean, Cha-Cha come out if he wants to, and he will get his ass whooped. He's gonna feel this frustration, because it's not just me, man. It's Ricky Martinez as well. You got two guys that have about 15 years of experience. We're gonna come out there and we're going to systematically destroy Cha Cha Charlie and Domino. My best advice to Cha Cha: don't come out. Domino, I want you to come. I'm not gonna tell you don't show up. Stay home. Please come. Cha Cha, this ain't your fight. I got nothing but respect for you, bro. I don't want you to have to catch this because it's not people see this as a wrestling match. I'm going to beat the shit out of this kid. That's simple in nature. I'm gonna take this aggression that I felt since I've come back. You really want to know what really did the straw, bro, was the king of the territory, bro. How the hell are you not gonna have the man who won the king of the territory on the goddamn flyer? Nah, you're gonna have everybody else out there. You're gonna have Domino out there. Ooh, slap in the face. All right, cool. I'm a type of dude that I like to try to just move forward, but it was just building block after building block. Then this ridiculous clown that they got, Skits. Yeah, they put a happy birthday post for him and not for me. And we on the same month. Like, bro, it's not like a jealousy thing. It's just, and I'm sure like these fans that are pissed off at me and that think I've disrespected, there's only so much shit you can take. There's only so much times you can get slapped in the face until you go, no. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to say something about it. I tried to be a stand-up dude, trying to show my kids something. But at the end of the day, I want to show my children that if people push you, you push back. And I feel like I've been pushed. I've been pushed. My patience has been tested. I've been disrespected. I've been held back. No more. No more, because now I say what I want, I do what I want, and I don't care. And in this business, that's how you get ahead. Facts.
Wow, it seems like, like we as us as fans and podcasters and guys that are following you, we see what's going on in the ring, but we don't see the little things that, that you guys, that you especially are feeling emotionally with. I mean, I get it. I understand where you're coming from when people forget about your birthday, when people forget about, where you should be at, on the flyer of an event, king of the territory. It's all starting to make sense to me. And I could see how this pent up aggression has come to where we are now here in February of 2024. To me, it's all making sense.
Yeah. Hey, man, people can call me a bad guy, call me a good guy. I call myself a man. And what I did was to make a statement. Was to make a statement of saying that, hey, I will not be overlooked. Secondly, can't nobody tell me what and when I want to do something. Can nobody tell me what I can do? I do what I want. And most importantly, man, like I don't want to repeat myself, but I'm just gonna keep coming back to it. I just felt that it was so many things that went down, and now it's time for me to really show my way, and not just myself, Ricky Martinez. We're gonna do it together. That's just the best way I can say it, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I know there's going to be no change in the opinion of Anna Maria Garcia here. She says that you're sounding like a crybaby. That Domino is coming in hot. He's going to be teaching you a lesson. And Mosh Pit Messiah is asking if the show is this Saturday at the brewery. No, it's the first Saturday of the month. This week, CCW is in Pompano for Breakout this weekend.
The first Saturday of every month, man. Get it right. Get it right. And to the lady that called me a crybaby, I ain't got no response to that. Why? I mean, so actually, you know what? No, I do. The only person that's going to be crying is Domino. And I hope that Domino brings his mom to the show, because I know he's done that in the past, and I know he's going to want to do it to get major support. If he does that, the only person that's going to be crying is Domino's mama. That's what I say.
Oh, that's definitely going to be a hell of a night. Hell of a night. Now, you mentioned, tag team, and for a while you were teaming with Johnny Nova there, and you guys were doing great. And, things kind of took a turn, and he turned his back on you. There was a lot of craziness going on with him showing up at your kid's birthday party, of all things. How do you deal with something like that, E.R.A?
Oh, I dealt with his ass in Port St. Lucie. I beat the tar out of him. I mean, look, there's only so much. Johnny Nova, he turned on me. It was a different situation, because me and Johnny were riding so high. Then I injured my shoulder, and then everybody started jumping on the E.R.A bandwagon. And I think Johnny just kind of felt lost in the scuffle. And what he did was Dr. Eric Christopher, I don't know what point, I don't know when it happened, but when we're in the locker room, man, you can't help it. Sometimes your paths will cross somebody else. And Dr. Eric Christopher was always trying to talk to us, always trying to get us with him. I'm that dude that I don't really like having people outside. I like doing my own thing. So I used to tell Nova, don't worry about it. And I think like Nova probably started getting with Dr. Eric. They started talking. He probably convinced him to do that on me. The set of balls that motherfucker had by showing up to my daughter's birthday. Excuse me. Like, oh my God. And I killed Johnny Nova for that. I don't understand how he's walking right now after what I did to him in Port St. Lucie. But now that I've experienced that level of disrespect by the fans, because I understand people drinking my Kool-Aid back then, so I really couldn't see it. But since I've been back and I felt the disrespect that I felt, I don't want to say I understand what Nova did, because showing up at my daughter's birthday party was a big no-no. We have a wrestler's code. Family is strictly off limits. He tested those limits. Now, he didn't touch my family. He didn't do anything. He just did it to get in my head. I can respect that. I can understand that. Kudos to Johnny Nova, because he got in my head. But he just messed with the wrong one, because he catch that big fat L. So next time, Nova, maybe do that to somebody else.
Gregory Kong says, you never got that title shot either. QT Marshall won King of the Territory, got the title shot, and now he's the champion.
Yeah, and eventually QT Marshall's going to be available, and I'm going to be right there, slim pickings. QT, I know QT heard about what I did. I know I have QT's attention. He's dealing with Jackal Stevens and Alex Chamberlain right now. I got Domino to handle with. Once I'm done with Domino and me and Ricky get these tag titles, I'm going to have one gold on my shoulder. I have another shoulder, Tony. I would not mind catching that CCW championship for QT Marshall, but I'm a patient man. It's all about timing.
We don't get to see that too often, and I think that'd be great to see. We don't get to see the double champions anymore. Everybody is happy being complacent. They got their world title, their tag team titles. You never see anybody else going after these multiple belts. But here in 2024, E.R.A, you're an old school type of guy, and I like that. I enjoy that. One is enough, two is enough. Let's get that big payday, right?
Yeah.
Let's get that, right?
Hey, they don't call me your girlfriend's favorite wrestler for no reason. I can handle multiple women. I can handle multiple championships. Shoot, I'm good with it.
Now, what's it going to take to bring down the crown? Because them boys have been running rampant over everybody, okay, for over a year.
I'm so glad you asked that. I fought the crown a lot. Haven't really been on the winning side of a lot of those occasions.
I don't remember anybody really being on the winning side, to be fair.
No. I beat him one time by disqualification, but, that's one time. But with the crown, they're about size and they're about power. So I remember there was a point in the steel cage match where I felt like, I got him. Now, I'm not going to go into specifics. There was a shoulder injury. Now, the extent of how serious the shoulder injury was, I'm not going to get into that because that's nobody's business but mine. However, how to beat the crown, there's a way. I've fought them so much that I'm starting to figure out, Tony, and I'm starting to find their weaknesses. I brought them down to their knees a lot in that steel cage match. And if I'm given one more shot, one more opportunity at the Crown's tag team titles, I know I can beat them. It's all about confidence with the Crown. It's all about persistence and confidence. You just got to be there at the right moment. They're not champions for 400 days for no reason, Tony. They're monsters. They're animals. They're amazing at what they do. But to quote a great movie, Little Giants, we can lose 99 out of 100. All that matters, all that counts is one time. And with the crown, all it takes is one time. I'll get them.
Very well said. And of course, a movie starring Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy, of course. I mean,
Yes,
how,
sir.
I mean, I know where you're coming from. I know where you're coming from. Now, Moshpit Messiah says it's Marshall, not Marshall. And Amanda Rodriguez says TikTok. So I don't know if she's referring to you or E.R.A. So I would like a little bit more specific on as far as like whose time she thinks is running out there.
Marshall, Marshall, Marshami, Marshanano. I don't care what it is. I couldn't care less. Um, TikTok, that's probably her menstrual clock about to go out, letting us know that her life's going on ground zero. I don't know. That can mean a lot of things. She may think maybe that my time is about to run out and that Domino's going to clean my clock. In that case, I'm saying that you live in a land of where Domino lives, and that is straight delusion. So go ahead, live in your fantasies. That's great. I really don't care.
Yeah, I
All
think
that's
we did get an answer that Amanda is part of Domination. So
Oh, wow, that's another thing that nobody cares about. That's great.
now it's been what? Are you going on 15 years now, E.R.A.?
About 16 now.
15, 16 years now. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, over time, you told me in the first interview that you started with CCW and you're still here with CCW to this day. So I know there's a lot of new guys and girls that are coming in to CCW now. Do they ever seek out your wisdom or advice just in anything in general as far as CCW or how to get bigger and better in professional wrestling?
I mean, it would only be smart of people to go to somebody with experience and ask them questions. I mean, you have your certain people, your regulars that do. You have your people that really don't. They kind of like stick to their way. But I'm usually open, when somebody ever has some advice they want, or maybe I'll see a match and then I'll notice something, and I'll usually come up to somebody and I'll say, hey, want some advice? Usually they'll be like, yeah. I'll give them a little 2 cents. There's certain guys that I guess I'll call them my guys that I'll watch their matches and I'll pull them to the side and be like, yo, got to clean this up. This needs to look better. I felt like I didn't really have that when I was going into the business. You just had your set guys. So when I see people coming up that are younger, and I think that they have a lot of potential, I would be more than happy to help them out with anything that I feel that can evolve them.
Okay. Now, I mentioned again in our first interview, the first match I ever saw you in, and I was at the show. Um, I was a rookie kind of interview guy, so I was very intimidated and a little, I wasn't on my, I think I'm on my A game now. I feel confident, I feel good, but like
Hell yeah.
it was a Sweetwater Pro Wrestling show. You were the champion. It was at like a soccer type
I remember
style thing
that.
in Doral. And I
Yep.
remember you had the long brown hair, and it was my first match ever seeing you because I was kind of new to the indie scene. And dude, you completely wowed me. You won me over that very first night. And I remember even trying to go up to you, and I know you probably don't remember it. I was like, "Yeah, how do I ask this guy for an interview? Like, how can I explain it or whatever?" And I was kind of, dude, you won me over, but you guys had to cut a lot of promos that night, and things just didn't work out that well. But coming from a fan standpoint, you made a very good impression with me just your first night. You didn't know who was in that crowd. So how important is it to you that every single night, you go out there and I do see people not particular any promotions or whatever that kind of just go through the motions and stuff like that, but that you are E.R.A. every single night, that you give people like myself that memorable moment every single time to draw them in and keep them following for years to come.
I mean, I guess if you want to put it anywhere, it's because I've wrestled in a lot of different type of crowds. I've done NXT, Raw, SmackDown, where you're wrestling in front of like 20,000. Then I've done indie shows where I've literally wrestled in front of like 5, 10 people. Um, when I started wrestling, I always loved the guys that put on the greatest shows, like Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, Rob Van Dam, Sting. These were the guys that to me were larger than life. So I always felt that if anybody pays their money to come see me, you know, I gotta give them my absolute best effort. I gotta give them the best match. I always, no matter where I went, I always wanted to steal the show. Whether I can have the best match, whether I can have the best dramatic match with all like the emotions and everything, like it's knowing your placement in the card. You know, knowing who's the match before you, who's the match after you. But I always say this in the locker room as well. You know, I always tell the wrestlers, you know, remember you were out there, you were buying tickets to see wrestlers. Don't forget that. You know, when you go out there and you go out there and perform, remember that this guy who's bringing his kids spent money not just for tickets, spend money for gear, spend money for drinks, for food. This is their Saturday night out. You don't want to give them a crappy night because they're going to have to go back to work on Monday. And you don't want them being like, damn, bro, why did I go to that wrestling show on Saturday? That shit sucked. No. And what I always prided myself, and this is something that happens in a lot of shows, but you know, one of the best compliments I ever get was, bro, I don't really watch this. You know, I came here because my friend was wrestling. I came to see my boy. But what you did out there, bro, was like, oh my God. Like, that to me is probably like the best compliment I've ever gotten in wrestling because, yeah, I mean, come on. When you can, like, the story that you just said, like, about that to me, that's high praise. Like, man, like, and I've gotten that so many times in my career. And I think that's one of the reasons why I keep going. You know, you know this working in the podcast industry, any type of entertainment industry, any entertainer that works always questions themselves, always gets in their head, always tells themselves, can I still do this? Do I have it? And then those compliments that I get from people, those high praises is one of the reasons why I do it because I know I have something.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, obviously, you've performed in front of 20,000 people. You've done the WWE stuff. And obviously, we all know that CCW Bash at the Brew on Saturday night is probably one of the most electric independent crowds. It's probably one of the most electric wrestling crowds. I'll go on record to say that in general, every single Saturday, the fire, the energy. But how did you ever deal with, you said you wrestled in front of 5 people or smaller crowds. And I know as a podcaster, as an interviewer, obviously we want people to see our stuff and be entertained by it because we do put a lot of work and passion into it. How did you deal with those particular situations where you walk out and there's 10 people in the crowd?
Man, I mean, kind of it is what it is situation. Like, actually, with those crowds, man, I'd wrestle in front of like 10, 20 crowds, and I'm like, how can I make it sound like 100 to 200? Like, that was my mindset. Okay, there's 10 people out there. So that means that's 10 reactions I can get. And I'll give you a good one. Okay. I was wrestling in Alabama. I want to say 2010, 2011, the beginning of this whole like tech bubble thing. You know how people were like on their phones and stuff like that. So I'm wrestling in a crowd and there's probably like 12 to 15 people. You know, it's like a 2-day loop that we're doing. So we're doing another show later on. It's during the day. So it's one of those day shows in the outside. All right, whatever. Deal with it, get through. So I see only like 12 people out there. So I'm like, all right, how am I gonna turn a negative into a positive? And I see one girl on her phone while I come out. And she's just on her phone. She's not looking at me, she's on her phone. And I'm doing my thing and I'm getting a few reactions here. You know, it's a little chatter here. Some guys are talking crap. I'm a heel, which is great. So I look at this woman, I'm like, hey, and I'm snapping at her like she's a dog or something. I'm like, hey. And then she looks at me. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like on her phone. What? I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm on my phone. I'm like, no, you're disrespecting me at my job. I was like, how can you do that? Like, seriously, how can you do that? Do you see me doing that to you? Do you see me going to your job and telling you what street corner to stand on and disrespecting you where you work? You're going to disrespect me at my job? What's wrong with you? And everybody started booing. And right there, I'm like, I got him. Babyface came out, 12 people standing up, cheering, calling me E.R., shame, or like just I remember some of them were throwing stuff in the ring during my heat, like, and then I came back thinking, man, that's taking a negative and turning it into a positive for sure.
Speaking of getting some heat, let's pull up this comment right here. That's Back to Life. Sneaker says, "What's going on with the ramen noodle hair? Do they sponsor you yet?"
Oh my God. Can somebody tell this person, or can their mom come in and tell them it's time for their bedtime? Like, seriously, what time is it? 8 o'clock? You have school tomorrow, son. Go to bed.
Okay. And then Georgie says Domino won't be asking for advice for a while.
Yeah, Domino could come ask me for advice. You know, he can come ask me how he can take this ass whooping good. You know, I don't mind giving him advice. He can go catch it from Cha Cha Charlie. Definitely can get that from there.
Well,
Ramen noodle.
Ramen noodles. Come on, man.
That made me laugh. Ramen noodle should sponsor me. Actually, that would be pretty cool.
Let's do it, man. You're accepting sponsorships, aren't you?
All day, man.
Shit.
I'll put it on my gear too. Shoot, and I wear the pink. I already wear the pink. We can sponsor the shrimp. My daughter loves those.
Well, you know, they throw out the beers at Bash at the Brew. That you can throw out some cup of noodles. People go crazy over that. Come on, man. We're gonna clip this. We're gonna send it to Ramen Noodles. I mean, it's worked with other guys on my show. We've talked about other stuff, and now they've got sponsorship. So let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes.
I like that. You give me an idea for the show. You give me an idea.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Come out throwing ramen noodles at people. That's a good one. I like that.
I like it. I like it. See, a comment like that has led to something that has sparked our creative juices. So
that's wrestling for you.
Right?
That's wrestling for you.
Now, you know, the name of the podcast is Dropping Down from the Rafters. Obviously, it's paying homage to the greatest of all time, Sting, with a great illustration that I have here from a local artist, Jake, that made my my graphic here with me coming down holding a microphone.
That's dope.
Sting's final match is only 2 weeks away. I am going to North Carolina for that match. I cannot miss it. I know you're a big Sting fan as well, too. And we talked about, you know, what caught your eye in the first interview is him coming down from the rafters, obviously, and battling the NWO, such iconic moments. Other than that particular moment, what's another moment for you that stands out for you from the icon Sting?
Oh, my God. Wow. Putting me on the spot. Okay. I know a lot of people bashed. I was a huge Wolfpack Sting fan as a kid.
A lot of people were, yeah.
Huge. I mean, I know people bashed the Wolfpack, and that's when, like, you know, I've heard Bischoff and a lot of people say that's when the NWO was going down. As a kid, I didn't think so. When I rewatched it, definitely see something different. But I will say this. I thought Wolfpack Sting was so cool. I love the red and black because red's my favorite color. So the dynamic of the red and the black, especially for me, I was like 10 years old at the time. So, you know, being a Miami Heat fan, you literally see it right here. My room's all red and black. So when I saw Sting wearing that, you know, I thought that was really cool. And then another Sting I like, man, I mean, when he came back in 99, after the Wolfpack thing, like that Sting in the 99 run, I thought that was really cool. Also, like I've watched Sting in all his eras, from like the flat blonde, you know, the flat top blonde Sting to the crow Sting to everything, man. The fact that his last match is coming up in 2 weeks makes me feel old as shit. But it's just, man, it's the best way that I can describe it. And like being a sports fan, man, like when you ride with a team so long, like with Sting, I feel like kind of like Dwayne Wade, you know, you watch the beginning and the end of the career, you saw all of it, you know, and when it's coming to an end and it's kind of like a little piece of you comes to an end also, you know, it sucks, but it's poetic at the same time. You know, it's sad, but it's beautiful at the same time. You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. You know, Sting always puts on a hell of a show. So I know he's going to give the fans, you know, something nice probably. Hope he doesn't get hurt. Like, that's just my main thing with him. And I'll give you a little tidbit since we're talking about Sting. I used to do a lot of the Rosebuds work with Adam Rose on Raw and SmackDown. I used to do a lot of that. And Sting, this is like when Sting came back and fought Seth Rollins 2015. And I was in the locker room with Sting, and he just, man, like he just had some of the most beautiful words of wisdom, some of the most beautiful beautiful things to say about, faith and God. We're in the locker room, and I was asking him advice on wrestling. And I was so fixated on wrestling, and he was telling me things like, well, first and foremost, you need to be good with God, because you can't be successful in wrestling. You can't be successful in anything until you have your relationship with God. And I don't want to get onto another level. I know it's not a
No,
topic
but
to
it's
get
all
to,
good. It's all good though.
but it was something beautiful, because it was something that I was struggling with at the time, something I was questioning at the time. And here I am on WWE Raw, the grandest stage of them all, a place that I've dreamed of being at since I was a little boy. And I'm being told by one of my heroes, not advice about wrestling, about advice about something spiritual. And the fact that he can talk about that when you're there shows me what type of man he is, showed me the type of man that I wanted to be, because I was at that level with my faith. And it kind of led me to where I became as a man, because that was before I was a father. This was 9 years ago. So it kind of led me towards the path that I wanted to be. I'm not saying it's because of Sting, it's one conversation, but it was a great pivotal point for where my life was. Sting did that for me. So I always thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's one of the things I describe when people talk to me about Sting and like my journey. And I'm a few years older than you, and I felt like I grew up with his characters. Like I was a young kid when it was, Surfer Sting, and
Yeah.
then I was in high school when it was the Crow. So he's a little darker, he's quiet, he doesn't know who to trust or whatever. And then as I'm in college, he becomes Wolfpack Sting, and we want to
Yeah.
go out and have fun and do all this. And then he kind of comes back into his own afterwards, and becomes, the Crow Sting, but not really the Crow Sting. He's talking. He's the vigilante essentially, or just he's the black and white Sting at that point.
Yeah.
He's a man onto his own, and I felt like he fit my life in path, how I grew up, like his character, like I grew up with his character, how it evolved too, and that's why again it's the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast, because I think without Sting, like I don't think I'm here today talking to you
Yeah.
without that one person to me. And I know when you mentioned him being one of your favorites of all time, I felt like we had to, in his retirement obviously coming up, I felt like we had to at least have a little bit of Sting conversation here in this
Oh
podcast.
yeah, man. The great thing, one thing I'll always keep to my life was, I was told in the business very early, don't meet your heroes.
Right.
Um, yeah, that night, all those people were wrong.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Georgie says that speaks to the longevity and sacrifices wrestlers make. Crow Sting was his favorite. I
Oh
don't
hell
think there's
yeah.
a bad version of Sting, to be honest. I mean, I think the only Sting that some of us have, kind of is the WWE run. And it wasn't his fault, it didn't turn out the way, I'm so glad he's getting the redemption run here for these past 4 years now. When he came back, I didn't
Yeah.
think we were going to get 4 years of Sting. I thought we were going to get like 3 matches. And again,
Yeah, right,
right?
man. It just shows you like what it's like for him walking with God. The story that I told, like the fact that he's still able to do it. Like, dude, I remember that night in Night of Champions was literally 3 weeks after we had that conversation, and like that happened to him. I remember watching it, just like, good Lord, I was feeling terrible for him, and I thought his career was over there. And I
Right.
mean, the WWE run, I mean, I loved it. Like that storyline with Seth Rollins, I thought it was amazing.
Mhm.
I really liked where they were going. Man, if I was booking it, I would have booked Sting to win the title. Like I would have. Not a long run. He would have given it back to Seth probably the next month at I don't know if there was Survivor Series or the following month, but just give it back to him the next month. But just like to have that little run, kind of like Shawn Michaels in 2002, Hogan 2002, like that little 1 month
Mhm.
nostalgia run. I thought that would have been great for Sting in 2015. I thought he could have had some nice matches on Raw. Not a lot, just a few. But yeah, man, that was super unfortunate, bro. But the fact that he's been able to have this run, it's all a blessing.
Yeah. Now, Georgie brought up something about the longevity and sacrifices, and I feel like that's a good question to ask you about what type of sacrifices have you had to make to have the longevity that you've had in your wrestling career?
I mean, I know that the last year I've been this whole injury bug thing has plagued me. It's only been 2 injuries. The first one wasn't my fault. It was a freaking hip toss. I mean, I had no control over that. I was actually lucky as hell that I've been trained the way I train because I don't know if you ever seen the video, but when I came up, I didn't. One of the guys didn't hook my arm, so I had nowhere to go. I was just going straight down. I was about to break my neck basically. I was gonna land head first right on the ground. And when I was in the air, I don't know what happened. I felt like time froze and all I thought about were my daughters. And then I just rotated my body. Like I tried to flip, but then I landed on my shoulder and the back of my head. So I like completely separated the AC joints, dislocated the shoulder, and then I suffered concussion because I landed literally in the back of my head. Instead of landing the top of my head, I landed the back of my head. So it's like back of my head, shoulder, all ate the ground. And then after that, I'm having, I come back, whatever. I'm having a match with my first match with Ricky Martinez back. We're wrestling Daisy Kill and Jack Talos. I do a moonsault to the outside, and then nobody catches me. I bump off of Ricky. I had injured my shoulder. I had injured my elbow already. Like it was already injured. But then I landed elbow first, and my pad had kind of rolled down, so nothing was protecting my elbow. So I remember when I landed, I heard this it felt like this bang, and yeah, fractured completely. And those are 2 injuries. But before that, in 15 years, nothing. No broken bones, no torn ligaments. I have suffered multiple concussions. That I have. I have no issues right now, thank God. I've seen doctors, I've seen specialists in the past. But for longevity, I take care of my body. These jerseys are falling down, excuse me. But I take care of my body. That's what I do. I do a lot of calisthenic exercises. I do a lot of stretching. I do a lot of ice baths. I just do a lot of stuff to take care of my body. I've been very prone since I was in my early 20s. A lot of stretching, a lot of yoga, a lot of Pilates, just a lot of stuff to try to keep my body right. And, listening to a lot of veterans. Like when I started, a lot of the older guys were telling me how they were feeling. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to go on a long car ride, I need to do a really long 20-minute stretch before I go. And then when I get to where I'm going, the boys know this. When I get into locker rooms, I do these insane stretches, where I'm just there for like 15, 20 minutes, just getting my whole body ready. It's a process. I see a lot of guys. I don't know how, I see guys just go out there and they do it. They don't stretch, just, go out there and do it. I'm like, man, your body must be screaming the next day. I can't. I got to make sure that I'm right.
It's so interesting as somebody. Yeah, I mean, that I'm there 3 hours before the show sometimes, and I kind of get a little behind the scenes look, and I get to see all the personalities, I guess you could say, of how everybody is different, and that some people are just chilling and relaxing. Some people won't even say anything to me until after the show because they're so focused on what they're doing. But then after the show, they want to talk. We'll talk for an hour after the show. It's so interesting to see how everybody definitely prepares so differently for the matches that on any given night, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, we all have our own way. There's a lot of people. Everybody's different. Me, I like to get loose and relax. I like to be chill. I'll have my music. I'm always on my headphones. When you see me at a show, hours before the show, I'm out there stretching. Getting my body right, like I mentioned before. I'm in my headphones. I'm listening to music, joke around with some of the fellas. And anything to stay loose and relaxed. Shows can build a lot of tension, a lot of nervousness. I still get butterflies in my stomach before I walk out there every freaking time, man. So it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Oh man, those are great words. Now, wait, he says, let's see, George. He says, I saw that match with the hip toss. He seriously thought it was your neck at that point. Which is crazy. Wow.
It really was. I saw the video so many times, and I was literally a few inches away from breaking my neck.
Yeah.
It could have been, and that was the day before my daughter's 4th birthday. So I just remember being in the ring with the EMTs and just like yelling, like, I fucked up. I fucked up. It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow. I fucked up. I'm in the hospital room. I'm in tears. And then that's when all this stuff started, with the whole process about what the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Trying to get the satisfaction off of people when in reality I'm sitting here in a hospital bed. What's the point? You know?
Was there any point there where you thought like you just aren't going back?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember when that happened, I was in the hospital bed and I thought, okay, I wrestled my last match. Like I literally thought that. Then I got the MRI and it's like, okay, it's not like they were telling me the worst because my shoulder was literally like the bone was like popping out. They popped it back into place that night. And when they did that, it was like, okay. Like now I'm getting better news, but they still had me. The doctors told me all the worst stuff. Then I got recommended by a buddy of mine, go see this physical therapist. Then I went with him and he's like, okay, well, it's bad, but we can get you right. We can get you right a lot sooner. And then I started doing this type of, it's electroshock therapy exercising. So it's like a new modern way of working out. So instead of going to the gym, you just basically have this whole bodysuit on you for 25 minutes and it's just shocking you. It's kind of like those ab belts, but it's made for the whole body. And you're not using weights. You're just using like those, like those little stress balls that you squeeze. That's it. That's what you're using for, and you're lifting, you're doing that. But what that's also doing is that it's healing you. It's healing, like it has this process afterwards where you do like this healing mechanism. So I got into that. And it was like my therapy just quickly healed me. Like doctors were telling me it was going to be anywhere from like 4 to 8 months when I first got injured. And then I was wrestling in the King of Territory match the month later. I mean, I was very restricted. I had that shoulder sling on, so I couldn't do a lot, but I was out there. I was like, okay, I'm like, this shit hurts, but I can do it. I can do it. Adrenaline's a hell of a drug, man. It really is.
Well, I definitely respect what all you guys and girls do for us, each and every Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever you guys are inside the squared circle.
Hell yeah.
We pay. We love to cheer you guys. We love to boo you guys. And, CCW in particular, just without failure, gives us a solid show every Saturday at Bash at the Brew, or every show that I go to is I've texted Nelio before after matches, and I'm like, dude, what you guys are putting on at Bash and the Brew, I think it's better than what I see on TV most of the time because I'm so invested. God. I'm so invested with you guys and girls into these programs, into these matches, and yeah, man, what you guys are doing, it's just a hell of a thing. It makes CCW. Guys like E.R.A. are why I love professional wrestling. It's why I keep doing these podcasts, because I love spreading. Just if I can reach out to just a few more people to let them know about what you guys and girls are doing, man, it's all worth it to me.
That's what's up, man. No, thank you, thank you, man. You give us this platform. I mean, people come see us wrestle, but I like doing stuff like this because it allows the people to get to know me as a person rather than just the character, And I usually like staying after the shows. I'll talk to the people sometimes. I'll get to know them, even though the people aren't really my favorite right now. Before I would, and it's cool getting to talk to some of the kids, and CCW does put an incredible product. The fact that we are probably the only company in Florida that puts as many shows as we do, hell, probably the world when it comes to independent wrestling. I don't think any promotion puts on shows like we do. We don't call ourselves the last territory for nothing. We really are. I started with CCW in 2008. Yeah, in 2008. I started 2007, 2008. I started training at CCW when I was in high school. Then when I graduated high school, I started traveling. I started being on the road. And so I started with CCW, and then I moved to Orlando. I started wrestling for how it is. You get out there, you start wrestling for different promotions. And then the fact that I came back to CCW in 2021, it's kind of like full circle, you know. So it's really cool. You know, I feel like being in CCW is like, it feels like being at home. I've wrestled in a lot of promotions. I gotta say the CCW, they do it right.
I was gonna say right now I don't see you wrestling too many other places other than CCW, and I see you at Pro Wrestling Action as well too. All
I
right,
mean, I used to wrestle for a lot of other promotions, but then it's like CCW, they take care of me. It allows me to be close to my family. So that's really the big selling point for me. Because when I travel really far, I'm not near my kids, and to me, that's really a big that's a deal breaker for me, especially now this stage of my life. So I like being able to wrestle. I like being close to the family. So it's just good for me, you know. And then I'll wrestle for another promotion, but why? When CCW has a show that weekend, you know what I mean? So
right.
I just rather wrestle at CCW.
Here's something I think maybe the only thing that you and Anna Maria Garcia will agree upon. It says, "Heck yeah, Bash is so much fun." And Mosh Pit Messiah says, "Thank to the both of you guys for what you provide to the wrestling." So,
Well,
thank
Anna,
you.
I mean, we both finally agree on something. Bash of the Brew's fun, but I would agree that it'd be a lot more fun if Anna wasn't there at the Bash of the Brew. So I think that's something we won't have to agree on.
Wow. And with that being said, or enough said, I want to spout out just a few quick questions right here because we did talk about you being a 90s guy. So I think we'll have a little fun to end up this conversation.
Right.
If there's one thing from the 90s that you could bring back, what would it be?
Oh my God. The factions. Yeah. Let's see some more factions get back together, bro. Like, my God, I loved when Triple H did the Authority 10 years ago. Like, that was just corporation all over again. Let's bring back some factions, man. I mean, like some real factions.
I was gonna
Like,
say
nothing.
yes, yeah. Let's get some real deal factions, not these like let's throw 7 people together and hope it sticks for 2 months.
Yeah, but let's learn from the mistakes. Like,
Right.
let's do NWO again. Like 3 guys. 3 guys. Like, you know what I mean? 3, 4 guys. Like, I've seen WWE try to do it. You know, I remember they did it with Seth Rollins, AOP, and Buddy Murphy, I believe. Like, they tried doing stables like that. I guess it's just got to fit right. So, you know, time will tell. But man, I'd love to see factions again.
Yeah, I think the WWE or WWF at one point when they had just amazing factions with like right to censor. Like I mean, it just worked at the time. Like
Yeah.
all those former like guys that had risque lifestyles be turned to the good side, and you know, it just I
Yeah.
get it. I would love to have stuff like that. Not that they were the greatest faction of all time, but I just love when that something like that just definitely works.
Hell yeah, man. Like, I mean, look, factions always work. Look at the Bloodline. Like, it's the hottest angle that's been going on in WWE for the last 3, 4 years now, and they're a faction. You know, I mean, you saw it work 10 years ago also when you had the Authority, when you had the Shield, you had the Wyatts. Like, to me, factions just work, but it's got to be done at the right time, and it's got to be done with the right guys.
If E.R.A. was to build his faction, let's say around 5 guys, who would it be?
Wait, in CCW or
No, anywhere.
like
Your faction, dude. You're putting together your faction.
Oh my God, Jesus, bro, that's tough. I mean, okay, a faction all time. Well, you gotta have like the man, the centerpiece. So let's build this faction around, I don't know, Randy Orton. Let's just say Randy Orton, focal piece of the faction. You gotta have the muscle. He had Batista before. Let's go somewhere different. Let's go Sid Vicious as the muscle.
Okay.
Yeah. Sid Vicious as the enforcer. I need a strong tag team with those guys. So let me have Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. Yeah. So you got Randy Orton, you got Tully. Oh, I'm kind of doing See, I love 4 Horsemen, bro. I love 4 Horsemen. So I'm always going around there. I'm always going there. Okay, but now you got to change it up a little bit. You need a little diversity in this group. It's looking too much like the Four Horsemen, but you need somebody who's going to do anything to make sure this team wins. Somebody who's going to, I don't know, maybe cheat to win. Somebody who can lie for the team. Somebody who can do some stealing for this squad as well. I don't know if maybe throw Eddie Guerrero in there as the fifth member, change it up a little bit. So you got Randy Orton, the guy. You got the tag team with Tully and Arn. You got Sid as the muscle, and you got Eddie Guerrero, the guys that does everything else, man.
I love
Why
it.
not?
I love it because factions sometimes are built off of a building block, right? So you can take the building block of the old Four Horsemen and put those pieces around it. I like it.
Yeah, and this is off the top of my head. I mean, it's not gold.
It's okay. I didn't tell you there was going to be a quiz on the podcast. So it's okay.
No, of course. No, of course not.
You mentioned again TV shows, and of course we were pressed for time during that face-to-face interview. But you said The Simpsons is your all-time favorite. Is there a particular moment that comes to your mind when you say, what's your favorite moment from The Simpsons?
I got it. There's this one episode where Homer just thinks that he's this inventor. Like he's trying to invent a bunch of things. He's using Marge as like his little doll. I don't know what, like her crash test dummy dolls, just using everything on her. And then there's this one scene that makes me die laughing every time I see it. He creates this shotgun. But this shotgun is to point it at a woman's face because the shotgun is made of makeup articles. So when you shoot the gun, it hits the woman in the face, and it's supposed to make her beautiful, like lipstick, eyeshadow, the whole 9 yards. So he's explaining this to Marge, and he's like, Marge, just stand there. You're going to love this. He just cocks back, and she's like, homie, I don't think you should. Bang! Shoots her right in the face. His wife, the mother of 3 children, the mother of his children, he shoots her right in the face with this thing. He doesn't know that's going to work. When he shoots her in the face, doesn't give her the look that she really wants. Nah, makes her ass look like Krusty the Clown. That's what it made her look like. That scene always is embedded in my mind in The Simpsons. If you haven't seen it, man, check it out. It's hilarious.
Okay, mine would have to be the episode where there's a guy, Grimes, that comes to work at the Simpsons at the nuclear power plant. Frank Grimes, and he's the complete opposite of Homer Simpson. And he ends up, I'm Homer Simpson, and then he ends up dying. And then Homer still gets the laughs at the funeral at the end of the whole thing. I think that's just such a brilliant episode. God. Just one of the many brilliant episodes of The Simpsons. But I wanted to know yours. And then I do have to ask because it's my all-time favorite show, and you did mention it, is Married with Children. So a Married with Children moment from you.
Oh my God, bro. Anytime Al Bundy would rip Marcy to shreds. Like anytime that Marcy would come to the house, like I got it. There's this one episode. It's season 4, episode 1. I'll never forget it. It's where Marcy's aunt dies. And then her aunt gets yes, Labor Day weekend. My favorite scene was in the end of it when they're all eating the burgers and they find out it's the ashes from the aunt. My favorite part was when Bud tells Steve, Marcy's wife, and then like Steve's just eating the burger, and then Bud tells her like all secret is he's like, yo, you're eating the aunt. He goes, oh my God, dude. I watched that scene so many times, die laughing. It's
such a great episode because I think it was Aunt Tootie or something. And he's like,
something like that.
I wish Aunt Tootie could be here with us right now. Don't worry, I feel like she is with us here. And he bites into the burger.
And then freaking, you got Peggy choking Kelly.
yes. Trying to get the ashes out.
Yo, when Kelly told Peggy and Bun, and Kelly went. Peggy's eating, and Kelly's like, I'm trying to say, she's like, give me alone. Oh my God. And then she tells us like, I'm gonna kill your ass, bro. Oh my God, that episode. Actually, when we're done, I'm gonna go watch it. Like that's how much I love that show.
Oh yeah, I would have to go, man. I think it's a tie between the time that Al becomes a farmer, starts up a vegetable garden, the rabbit is eating all his stuff. He has to blow up the backyard with dynamite in order the rabbit still lives at the end, and then Al also gets visited by aliens in one of the episodes.
I remember that.
And they're stealing his socks, and that's what's going to power them.
I remember that.
And Al ends up saving the universe. He gets the picture of the aliens. But then the film gets messed up, so he doesn't get the money. You know, Al never wins.
Yeah, never. Oh, that's the work. I love it.
Yeah. Well, E.R.A, is there anything else that we should know before we let you get on with your evening?
Oh man. For anybody that's checking this out, follow my Instagram, Ernest _R Alexander _ the third. Don't worry, as you're typing it out, it will pop up. But most importantly, check out my YouTube channel. We all do this through YouTube. I have a channel that's called Miami Heat Talk. It's not a wrestling channel, but it's a channel where I talk about sports, Miami Heat. I also do have another YouTube channel for E.R.A, Ernest R. Alexander. Y'all can check that out. I'll definitely be plugging this one on my channel to get you some subs as well, Tony, because we're all out here on the grind.
Absolutely. Well, it's been one more. We got one more comment in here from Georgie. It says Randy betrays Eddie like Triple H betrays Randy in Evolution.
Of course, you got to have a good portrayal in the faction.
You know it's going down like that, right?
And then Eddie wrestles Randy at WrestleMania for the title. Come on, bro. We all know this. It's classic.
We know how it goes down. We know how it goes down. Oh man. Well, E.R.A, it's been an absolute pleasure here talking with you and catching up. And I'm glad we did this instead of like the live interview. As much as I love the live interviews, but I feel like there was just a lot to talk about. And you know, we can't always have these in-depth conversations at shows. So I'm glad we were able to do it.
Oh no, I love the fact that we did this, man. Can't wait for the next one. Maybe we can do something a little cool next time, wrestling trivia or something. I don't know. I'd love to do something like that.
Let's do it. We have the themed events here. I definitely want to work on some more.
Yeah,
I'll definitely hit you up, and we'll definitely get some stuff going for.
Yeah, let your boy know for sure. I'd love that.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure you guys are following E.R.A. Make sure you guys are coming out to CCW, Bash at the Brew, or Breakout, or Kissimmee, or wherever they are, and follow E.R.A. Watch his basketball stuff. He's very knowledgeable. Much more knowledgeable than I'll ever be about the Miami Heat. You got a lot more knowledge. And check out his stuff. And E.R.A, once again, stay safe out there. Keep up the great work. And man, E.R.A Domino feud. It's only going to get hot this spring and this summer because Bash at the Brew, it can't get any hotter. We thought it couldn't get any hotter in that building, but I think it's about to in the next coming months.
Oh my God, we're getting to the hot time of the year. That place is going to be unbearable. But it's going to be great. It's going to be great because me and Domino, we're going to heat that place up. I mean, it's going to be fun. Get ready, fans. Get ready for the ride of your life.
Anna Maria Garcia says, what about your music? Do you have music stuff to plug as well?
Yes. Thank you, Anna. I am with my group. We are called Soulful, SOFL. We are R&B group. We just released our newest single. It's called Alive. It's actually dropping tomorrow on all social media platforms, Spotify, YouTube Music, the whole 9 yards. We also released a song called She's Always There. We released it in the end of January also. So I appreciate that, Anna. You're the real one there. I know we mess around.
Are you doing any
give you a good one.
Local performances or anything that we could check out?
No, we're not there yet. We're just doing music right now. Just, we just got back together recently, so we're just releasing music. We're looking to perform probably later in the year, something like that. So hopefully we get that done sooner rather than later.
Okay, please.
Definitely won't be at a wrestling show.
No. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. No.
Nah. I mean, we got some banging ass songs, but not meant for a wrestling show.
There.
I don't think so.
Let's see. Mosh Pit Messiah says, rock on. And definitely let me know. Let us all know about those if you do any local performances, because I'm sure one of your fans in here, Cherry Bombs, I'm sure me and her would love to go and check out your stuff together.
That'd be dope.
Anna Maria says Domino's still gonna win. She's trying to get
that's
the last
where we
word
don't
in.
agree. That's where we don't agree. So she's gonna have to admit she's wrong March 3rd. We'll see.
We'll see. Well, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to every single person in the comment section. You guys had some really great and really fun stuff. We might actually get a sponsorship out of this for E.R.A at the end of the day too. Ramen noodles. Let's make this happen.
Let's go. Let's go.
Check the comments one more time here. Georgie says, I'm still kicking your ass in karaoke.
Ha.
And on that note, guys, If you haven't already, for those of you who are watching this on demand, guys, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos.
And that's enough said.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.